because in those days my van was bright orange with all these artists' names down the side. So, and having the East End of London, I had Barbara Streisand, I had Ray Conniff, Tony Bennett. I mean, I left my heart in San Francisco, you remember all those sort of things? The Clancy Brothers, Bob Dylan, of course. I was at the concert in the Royal Albert Hall when he brought the band on and everybody booed him. The whole Salesforce were due to meet him afterwards, and because he was so angry with the reception, he refused to appear. And talk about cutting our own noses off, we decided there and then, as he wouldn't meet us, that we'd boycott his albums for about a week. So every time we went to a record shop and they said, oh, we've got this Bob Dylan freewheeling and bringing it all back home, we said, no, sorry, they're out of stock. And of course, at the end of the day, we suddenly realised the only people who were losing out were us. We weren't earning any commission on them. we soon stopped the boycott. My very first sales conference I can really recall was at the Hilton Hotel. It was a CBS conference. I was very young, married with a young family, never ever drunk spirits at all. And I'd never been to anywhere like the Hilton Hotel, and we get called in, had the meeting, and it was great. The Peddlers performed, Sly and the Family Stone were there, Johnny Mathis, and Alf Garnett, because we had a deal with Allegro where we used to deliver, we used to sell and distribute Allegro stuff, and he was part of it as well. And we had a great day. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, just surrounded by all these stars. I mean, it was just wonderful, and big cabaret. And then we went to the dinner tables, and there were tables of 10 bottles of spirits, all the mixers all round, and we sat down, guys were saying, I'll have that, I'll have that, I'll have that. And I ended up at the age of like 20, I think I was, or 21, with a bottle of whiskey. Never drunk it in my life. I drank 3/4 of a bottle of this whiskey, and the conference came to an end, and somebody suggested that we went to the top floor of the Hilton to have a look at the view, and they put me in the lift, pressed the button with them, and as the lift went up, I just went down. My legs just wouldn't take the speed of this lift, and I collapsed on the floor. And I was driven home by Brian Champion in this wonderful full cassette Corsair he had, and he was dropping Mike Edwards off in the East End of London as well, in Leighton. And we drove down the Lea Bridge Road, and I said, Brian, you've got to stop, I need to go to the loo. So I got out of the car, and it is exactly the place now where the ice rink is in Lea Bridge Road, and it used to be a wood. And I've gone to go into the wood, and I said, Brian, you won't leave me, will you? He went, of course I won't. And of course, the minute I've gone in behind the tree, I hear the... So I'm running up Lea Bridge Road with my old boy in my hand, saying, Brian, come back. And next minute I heard brum, 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 brum. I looked, and there's a policeman on a noddy bike alongside me. And he started, what's going on here? And Champion, who had had a skinful as well, got out. He said, it's right, officer, he's with us, we're having a game with him. He said, get him in the car and get him home. And this was a Friday. And because it was a day of all our best accounts, being the sort of guy I was, I'd told a lot of them I'd be there on the Saturday morning. And I woke up and I was so drunk still, I took my 3-year-old daughter with me to keep me awake to drive this van. I did 5 calls and had to call it a day. I spent the rest of the weekend in bed.